Have you ever had this feeling? You get paid. For a moment, you feel relieved. You tell yourself, this month I'm finally going to get ahead. And then, somehow 2 weeks later, you're checking your bank account wondering where all your money went. Here's the part that should stop you cold. Right now, roughly 44% of households earning between $150,000 and $200,000 a year say they're living paycheck to paycheck. Not broke people. Not people who lost their job. People pulling in triple what the average American makes. And they still feel like they're one bad month away from panic. So if you've ever gotten a raise and felt exactly as tight on money as before, I want you to hear this clearly. You are not bad with money. Nobody ever sat you down and taught you how it actually works. And by the end of this video, you will understand exactly what's been happening to your paycheck and what to do about it. This is the Adult Money Guide, and today we're breaking down why so many people feel broke, even when they're working hard, even when they're making more than they used to. Let's start with the story you've probably lived yourself. You get a raise. Maybe it's $400 more a month. For about 2 weeks, you feel rich. You upgrade something. A nicer apartment, a newer car. Maybe you finally stop checking prices at the grocery store. 6 months later, you're right back to checking your bank account before you hit confirm on a $40 order. Same stress, same tight chest, just a bigger number attached to it. Here's what nobody tells you. That's not a coincidence. That's a system. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. There's a name for what happened with that raise. It's called lifestyle inflation, and it is one of the quietest, most destructive forces in personal finance. Your brain doesn't actually track your income. It tracks your baseline, the lifestyle you've gotten used to. The moment your income goes up, your baseline creeps up right behind it, usually within weeks. New money doesn't feel like extra. It feels like finally enough. So it gets absorbed instantly, and your bank account ends the month exactly where it started, just more expensive. This is why a doctor making $300,000 a year can feel broker than a barista making $35,000 with zero debt. It was never really about the number on the paycheck. It's about the gap between what comes in and what goes out, and almost nobody is ever taught to manage that gap on purpose. Now think about this for a second. Most of us spend over a decade in school. We learn math, science, history, writing. But how many of us were ever taught how credit actually works? How a credit score follows you for life? How taxes work? How to invest? How to buy a car without getting trapped in a 5-year loan you regret? How to build a budget that actually survives contact with real life? For most people, the first time they learn about money is the moment they make a mistake with it. They get a credit card. They overspend. They build debt. They damage their credit. Then they spend years trying to fix something they were never taught to manage in the first place. Money is a skill. And like any skill, if nobody teaches it to you, you don't just magically know it. On top of all that, life itself has genuinely gotten more expensive. Housing, food, transportation, insurance, healthcare. When your basic expenses climb faster than your income, it becomes harder to get ahead no matter how disciplined you are. But here's the mistake a lot of people make in response. They focus only on earning more. And yes, increasing your income matters. But building real wealth actually requires 3 separate skills: making money, managing money, and growing money. Most of us are only ever taught the first one, which is exactly why a bigger paycheck alone rarely fixes the feeling of being broke. But lifestyle inflation and a lack of financial education don't happen in a vacuum. They've got a partner working quietly in the background, and it's called social comparison. Humans are wired to measure our success relative to the people around us. That's not a character flaw, that's just how our brains evolved. But for most of human history, the people around you meant maybe 150 people in your village. Today, it means a curated highlight reel of thousands of strangers on a screen, each one showing you their best vacation, their new kitchen, their new car, and never their credit card statement. You're not just trying to afford your own life anymore. You're subconsciously trying to afford a life that looks as good as everyone else's online. And that is an unwinnable game because the goalposts move every single time you refresh the app. Now add one more layer. Modern spending is engineered to skip the part of your brain that says, wait, do I actually need this? The buy now, pay later button at checkout. The subscription that auto-renews without asking. The algorithm that shows you the exact product you were just thinking about. None of that is an accident. Billions of dollars go into making spending frictionless, because friction used to be the thing that made people pause. Put lifestyle inflation, a lack of financial education, social comparison, and frictionless spending on repeat for a few years, and you get where a lot of people end up. Debt. The average American household is now carrying around $105,000 in total debt, and credit card balances alone average close to $6,700 per household, at interest rates north of 20%. That's not usually a spending mistake. That's the predictable result of everything we just talked about working exactly as designed. Debt isn't usually what makes people feel broke. Debt is what happens after people already feel broke and reach for a card to close the gap. Let's make this real with two people. Call them Person A and Person B. Person A makes $85,000 a year. They upgraded their car the moment they got their last promotion. They've got 4 streaming subscriptions they forgot they were even paying for. They eat out 4 times a week because they earned it after a long day. Every dollar that comes in already has a job the moment it lands. Person B makes $55,000 a year, $30,000 less. But Person B automated $200 a month into savings the day they got hired, drives a car that's paid off, and has exactly 1 subscription they actually use. Here's the twist. Person B has more money in the bank, less stress, and more options than Person A despite earning 35% less. Not because Person B is smarter. Not because they enjoy their life any less, but because somewhere along the way someone taught Person B a rule Person A never learned. It's not what you make. It's the gap between what you make and what you keep. Write that down. This is also where a lot of people get quietly tricked. There's a difference between looking rich and being wealthy. Someone can have the expensive car, the designer clothes, the newest phone, a nice apartment, and still have $0 in savings. Someone else might look completely average and have no debt, a real emergency fund, investments quietly growing in the background, and an actual plan. Building wealth was never about impressing people today. It's about creating options for yourself tomorrow. And here's the part that should genuinely excite you. Because everything we just talked about works in reverse too. A $7 coffee habit, 5 days a week, is about $1,800 a year. Invested instead, averaging a historical stock market return of around 7% after inflation, that same money left alone for 30 years becomes roughly $180,000. Not because coffee is evil, enjoy your coffee, but because money that isn't spent doesn't disappear. It compounds. Every financial decision you make today is a vote for the person you're going to be in 10 years. Not a punishment. Not a restriction. A vote. And small, boring, unremarkable votes cast consistently beat one big dramatic decision every single time. So let's turn this into something you can actually use. Starting today. Step 1. Know where your money actually goes. You cannot improve what you don't measure. Track your spending for the next 30 days. Not to judge yourself, just to see your real habits in daylight. Step 2. Automate the gap before you feel it. The most effective fix for lifestyle inflation is removing the decision entirely. The moment money hits your account, a percentage, even just 10%, moves automatically into savings before you ever see it as spendable money. You cannot accidentally spend money you never saw. Step 3. Give every future raise a job before it arrives. Next time your income goes up, decide in advance where at least half of that increase goes, savings, debt payoff, investing, before your lifestyle has a chance to quietly absorb it. Step 4. Build a $1,000 buffer before anything else. This is the number that breaks the emergency debt cycle for most people. It's the difference between a flat tire being an inconvenience and a flat tire becoming a credit card balance you're still paying off 8 months later. None of these 4 steps require you to make more money. They require you to manage the gap. And that gap, not your salary, is the actual lever that determines whether you feel broke or feel in control. Here's a question worth sitting with. If all of this is true, if the gap matters more than the income, why does everyone keep telling us the answer is simply make more money? Because a bigger paycheck is easy to sell you. A better relationship with money is not. And that is exactly why almost nobody teaches it. Feeling broke doesn't always mean you're failing. Sometimes it just means nobody ever gave you the tools. Money is a skill you can learn. You don't need to become an expert overnight. You just need to start one honest decision at a time. That is exactly what this channel is here for. The Adult Money Guide exists to teach the financial lessons school skipped, one video at a time. If this shifted the way you think about your own money, subscribe because everyone deserves a real financial education, and yours starts here. Go check your subscriptions today. I'll see you in the next one.